A lot of businesses, when they start, they want to be different, they want to stand out. But what exactly makes them different? Welcome to the Globally Connected Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the bond between your unique value proposition and storytelling. So, today is going to be an interesting topic where, as us being co founders, we have been able to identify a key ingredient that each business needs, which is a unique value proposition. We're going to talk about how one can define one, how it intertwines with storytelling, and utilize an actual brand that we like that encompasses unique storytelling and unique value proposition and storytelling. So I'll pass it over to Gigi before we get started.
Yeah, hey everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So, as Jerome stated, we'll be talking about how to create a unique value proposition, bridging storytelling into it. So, we'll go ahead and start off by explaining kind of what a unique value proposition is. So, a unique value proposition, you shouldn't just have it describe what your product does, but also why it actually matters. So it tells people what makes you different. That's why it's your unique value proposition and why exactly they should care about your brand and engage with you. So, the reason why we're bridging storytelling with unique value proposition is when you create a story out of your unique value proposition that includes an emotional appeal, it includes context, it includes memorability, that helps bridge it all together to where your client or your target audience actually understands why your brand is different and why they should associate with it.
Yeah. Well, as a storyteller myself, I would like to hone in on the art of actually storytelling and how one can use it as an actual art to intertwine that with their business model to create a unique value proposition. So if you aren't a storyteller, it's fine. You usually gotta have to find the inspiration within that business model that you're trying to create and figure out how you can actually relate that, as Gigi said, to your core target audience and just to the entire world, because that's what storytelling is all about. It's all about making it relatable, personable, and most importantly, authentic. And that is actually what your unique value proposition should actually be, which makes it unique, authentic. So yeah, that is something that I think we have actually been able to do. But I want to actually ask you, why do you think it's important for one to be able to identify and have a unique value proposition in business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I think it's very important to have that in business or in your brand because it helps you actually connect with your customer. So, it's deeper than just, hey, this is my product, this is what it does, this is the price. It goes deeper than that to actually create an emotional appeal. And I think this will actually help you create a legitimate fan base and people who actually support you rather than just are making a purchase. They're actually supporting the brand and the vision behind it. They're more likely to come back, they're more likely to tell other people about it, and it's more likely to, most importantly, resonate with them and actually provide value to the individual as well. So I want to pivot to you, Jerome, because you're an amazing writer, and
Thank
actually in
you.
a lot of Jerome's writings, like you can tell how he uses storytelling and emotional appeal to connect with the audience. So, for those who don't know, Jerome is also a writer, he's also a producer, filmmaker, actor. So, he bridges this a lot into the business that we do with our clients. But I'd like to focus on his storytelling specifically to the scripts that he writes. So, when you are writing the scripts, your readers can really feel with you, and it actually like resonates a lot. And it actually, even me, when I read his writings, it pushes me to want to actually send it to other people because it just sparked ideas in me. It was emotional, it was raw, and it brings out a lot of truth. So, how do you build this emotional appeal with your audience, and what's going through your mind as you're writing and positioning yourself in that way?
That's a great question, and thank you first and foremost for the sentiment. I appreciate it. But I would say it comes from me actually just thinking about everyone. I have friends from all walks of life. I've been able to connect with people from all walks of life throughout the entire globe. And I just think that we all, in some shape or form, have commonalities, even though we may have grown up in a different background. We all have some form of commonalities. So I think about what is missing, but I also think about what someone who's from an Asian culture or an Indian culture may actually deal with as well as what I may deal with, but nobody has yet to talk about it. So that is how I'm able to tap into that psychological aspect where it's like, okay, let me tap into this aspect, but also that is my unique value proposition that I have identified because I'm not saying this isn't the case, but and correct me if I'm wrong, or let me hear some perspective as well. But when you watch like series or movies, you don't really see screenwriters addressing this issue. So it's like, okay, let me actually be different and be that artist that I am and connect with all audience from all walks of life and make it relatable. So when you're sitting at a table with all your friends, if you're in college and everybody comes from a walk of life, y'all can be able to relate, have fun, laugh, joke, etc., etc. So I just think I love being able to connect with people from all walks of life. And I'm an actual true artist. Like some of my inspirations, and I actually kind of take from them as well as Michael Jackson, Prince, Andre 3000. You know, like them are some of the people. And as far as art, Jean Michel Basquiat, who's from Brooklyn, New York, he was Haitian and Jamaican. Um, if not Jamaican, excuse me, he was Haitian and black. So I just take a lot of inspiration from them, and I form that into writing. So that's how I'm able to come up and be able to bond storytelling with unique value proposition.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I love that, you explained the psychology aspect too, and actually understanding the psychology of your audience and writing in a way where you're putting their perspective first into your writing. So, really love that. So I'd like to pivot and go through actually some questions that you, the audience, can ask yourself as you are building your unique value proposition using storytelling. So, say for example, you have a product or you have a service, you can ask yourself, and you can even invite the audience that you have to give you feedback too as you are crafting your story. But ask yourself, what's the moment that actually led you to create this particular product or service? Was there a particular frustration that triggered this creation? Was it an injustice that triggered it? Was it a particular fondness of something that drove the creation of this thing? And can your customer actually see themselves in that journey that you're portraying as well? So that way, your audience can connect in the way that they can also describe a moment that correlates with this experience that you're creating. And you want to think about who is your target audience before they use your brand and after. Like, how is this going to influence them? And what kind of archetype are you portraying as well to your audience? Like, are you giving the vibe of like the rebel or the caregiver or the rock star, the explorer? Like, what is the archetype that you are creating through this story that you're telling? So this ability to like identify this emotion, identify the source, identify all of these things, and bring them together is going to help you deliver this unique value to your client. And now you can actually take this and wrap it into a short story that will resonate with your audience. So, Jerome, do you have anything to add here about kind of the steps that you can take to develop your unique value proposition and using storytelling?
Yeah, I would say you touched on a great deal of it, but I would also say being able to connect. It's a
Mm-hmm.
difference between being able to have relatability and connect. I think a lot of aspect that's a components of businesses, whether it's the product or service that is missing, is the ability to connect with the audience and also just connect with the population. You know, I want to take it back to me as a writer. That is like my number one thing. I want to connect with people. I don't care where you come from. And I feel like that is what is the number one thing when it comes to developing your unique value proposition is being able to connect and also being able to like lead the actual audience of what it is that you create with your unique value proposition. Like you got to be able to lead them to be able
Mm-hmm.
to be inspired to also lead others to want to connect to your unique value proposition. Let's
Yeah.
look at let's look at brands such as Nike. That's actually like one who I think has been able to master the art of bonding, storytelling, and unique value proposition. Their slogan is simple: just do it, right? And that is something that could connect to everybody from all walks of life. It don't matter what industry you in, because Nike is typically an athletic sports brand, right? However, their unique value proposition centers around empowering athletes through innovation and performance enhancing products. And if you are an athlete, then it centers around innovation and performance, will and effort, having an emotional connection, as I mentioned, the word connection, and then inspiration and empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
So the story that they are telling you is simply that you, as well as anybody else, can achieve whatever it is that you're aspiring to accomplish if you just do it. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know what you're thinking.
No, yeah, I agree, especially with the leading aspect. Like you also want to keep, you want to keep your audience excited. Like you want to create a form of excitement, whether that's like through the drops that you do, through the launches that you do. Like you want to keep your story exciting, and you want to connect with your audience that any chance that you get. So I think Nike's a great example. So next, we'll go ahead and actually give you guys some examples of brands that we see. Jerome, do you have another brand that you'd like to talk about?
Chick-fil-A. That's the first one that's coming to my mind. Their unique value proposition is fast service.
Mm-hmm.
Their traffic is busy 6 days a week, all day, every day. But
Right,
their ability to storytell and provide Chick-fil-A, I'm sorry, provide chicken that is top notch in quality compared to a Popeyes or a KFC. It's why people keep coming back because of the service, the ability to make you feel at home, and also the ability to connect with their audience and know that, hey, Bill got to go to work today, but he needs something quick, fast, and in a hurry, but also tasty. And but it's not that expensive. He could get a milkshake, he could get a sandwich, he could get a dessert, and he could get some fries. That's always hot. So I
right.
think it's a good brand that's been able to master storytelling and also bonding that with their unique value proposition. How about
Mhm.
you?
Yeah, so I've got two examples ready. So, the first one is gonna be the hype right now, right? So, Labubu. I know we've all heard about Labubus. We've been seeing them. It's been the hype across many generations too. Like you see little kids interested in Labubus. I even got friends interested in Labubus. I see adults. So it's very interesting how this Labubu came and just took over in the hype world. So the reason is because it's not just your average everyday toy.
Hmm,
So what makes Labubu so unique is that you're kind of joining like a world of these like mythical creatures. It's kind of like an artistic escape. So because of this, it's like become something that the community can bond on as a whole, because also it's a collectible. So the way Labubus work is when you purchase them, they come in a box, and it's like you don't know which one you're going to get. So
hmm,
you open it, and then it's like you want to collect them and get the rare ones. So the creator of Labubu, he actually was able to create like this cute but ugly type of figure, which is so unique. People haven't really seen things like that before, and it's so tiny and cutesy, but it has like little monster teeth. So it just is like very, it gives you like this feeling of like an artistic, emotional escape, comfortability, but also the rareness of them in terms of like the different ones that are out there and how they're being dropped in collections is what helped make this like so important and big. And people are just like social media influencers are talking about them. There's TikToks being made about them. There's unboxing videos. People are reselling them. So really love the hype over here. And another example that I'll give is Supreme. So
that's the same.
Supreme was so big when we were in school. Like Supreme was everywhere. So the thing about Supreme actually, so it was actually founded in 1994
Yeah.
in a small Manhattan skate shop in Manhattan, right? And they didn't design their brand for luxury. Actually, back to what we were talking about with choosing your archetype, this is like that rebel archetype. That was their target audience. They were designing for skaters, but not just any skater. Skaters who hate brands. Skaters who are not into all the corporate boxes. They're not into the uniforms. So they had their target audience in mind when they were designing this, and you can even see that in their logo, the box with the bold letters in the middle, the red box. And they actually released their stuff also in limited drops to kind of like showcase different elements within the artistic skater community with their drops. So they're with the time of their audience, they're keeping them excited, they're keeping them on their feet. And Supreme became such a huge brand. So this ability to connect with the values of your target audience, to understand first of all who your target audience is and how to artistically connect with them, communicatively connect with them, and doing fun, exciting things like drops really helped with the success of Supreme, with Labubu, with Nike, Chick-fil-A. So these are a few examples that we can give you guys. And, I think that's pretty much wrapping up unique value proposition and storytelling in a nutshell. Is make sure that you are creating that emotional appeal and understanding your target audience. And like Jerome stated too, with the psychology aspect, actually understand how your target audience works. So how about you, Jerome, if you've got some stuff to add before we wrap up today's episode?
Now, Supreme was actually a great example. I've actually been to that Supreme store that you are mentioning, and that store is always packed. Like the line is always around the corner. I think that's the only brand, clothing wise, that I've seen yet that has such an impact in all industries. It could be sports, it could be music, it could
Right.
be um tech. It's all aspects, and like people in all industries wear that brand. So that was a great example. But I just wanted to like second everything you said. Just don't forget like why exactly you are telling your story. Like always remember what's your why. What's your why behind the unique value proposition of your product or service, and what's your why behind the story that you're trying to tell. And if you can remember that, that's going to keep you going and keep your community being part of whatever it is that you have going on.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, please feel free to share, subscribe, leave us comments on content that you'd love to see, and we're happy to make more videos. So take care, everybody, and have a great day.